As a still life photographer, we have 3 options to focus our image. Now we're going to make the assumption here that we have this little Peli case thing, we want it all in focus. Not always the case, but in this instance, that's what we're after. We have our camera, and we have 3 ways to get it in focus, and there are some key differences. You can't interchange these ways, that's not how it works. The first thing we're going to do is what a lot of you suggest, and that's focus stacking. Focus stacking is where we take lots of images at various increments until we have the whole image in focus in various frames. We merge them together. You can either use Photoshop or Helicon Focus, and that's what we'll do first. The second option is using aperture, and the third option is using my technical camera. So first of all, focus stacking. We take frame 1, simple lighting, it's not a good photograph, ignore the photograph. We have chosen the sharpest aperture on this lens, which is f11 for this instance. It might be different for you. And we've got the camera focus. Now I've got a very accurate rail system here. So what I'm going to do, I've focused at the closest point first. I'm going to make my way across the image until I get to the end. So to do that, we make the bellows shorter. So you do a small movement, take a frame. Small movement, wait for the load, take a frame. Small movement, and we're going to keep going. And over here, what I'm going to turn on is focus mask. And I want to see my focus mask hit that back end. Let's get another frame. Small focus. Let's get in there. Another small focus. Almost. Couple more frames. You know, we're at a decent distance here. It's quite a simple focus stack. Some focus stacks can be up to 100 images that we've done in the past. Some have been 3. It all depends on distance, depth of field, and aperture used. It's a method we do employ, but it has its negatives, as you're seeing. So we started doing this. We're still doing it now. Almost there. What we're going to do next is export these files. We're going to come over to the computer. So in here, oh, we've still not quite got it. We need another frame. We wouldn't normally fire it from the camera either. We'd normally do it all from the computer, but it's not very interesting to watch, is it? There we go. We've got it now. We've got it. Boom, there we go. So we're now going to come into our frames. We'll choose the first one to the last one. We're going to export these. Bring this here so you can see it, as TIFF 16-bit. We don't have that there, so we'll go to 8-bit. Okay, this is now exporting. So we're exporting now. This is a Mac with 16 gig of RAM. It's starting the export. Now, this is fine. I'm here, you're here, no one's pressuring us. If we're on set, we're now all standing here. 15 people standing here waiting for the export. But we'll wait, we'll let it do its thing, and then we're going to drag it into Helicon Focus because we can't move on to the next shot until we know we've nailed the stack. And even when we use built-in stacking software, it still makes mistakes. The best one we've used so far is the Phase 1 XF body with the built-in focus stack. It's very good, but it's not perfect. You wouldn't risk 150 grand shoot on it. You'd check it first. So we're going to do that, and that's what we're doing at the moment. Still rendering out, 30 seconds to go. Feels like an eternity when you're on set and the client's going, ugh. So let's get Helicon ready. I've only got a free version of it on here because we don't actually use it that often on this machine. There we go. So here's our files. We're just going to do a quick render. So what I'll do now is go through all the files, pulls it all together. I quite like how you see it happening. And there we go. Here's our final image. There we go. And here we have a focus stacked image ready to go. But now, here's the problem. We've just done that. We've waited all of that time. I've cut through a lot of it, so I have to deal with the wait. And the client's gone, can we move it a little bit? And now the process starts again. And yes, you should go, well, we'll get the client to sign it off before we stack it. And we do that. We get it all perfect and go, right, are you happy? We stack it. They've then had thinking time. And in that thinking time, they've come up with a new idea. This is why focus stacking Sucks. So what's the next option? We want it all in focus. Let's deploy a bit of hyperfocus. We're going to focus in the middle of the shot. Let's get it really sharp in the middle. There we go. And we're going to stop the lens down. F32. Let's grab a frame. So F32. There we go. We've got most of it in focus. It's underexposed. We need to turn our light up. This is going to hurt a bit. Let's go full power. That's 3,200 joules of light. How are we looking now? That's better. Okay, we've got a little bit not enough focus at the front, so we're just going to pull it back a little bit. There we go. Get another frame. Just that front right-hand corner is not quite sharp. We want to get a little bit more in there. Perfect. We've got sharpness at the front, we've got sharpness at the back. But here's the issue. We've lost actual detail because we've stopped the lens down so much. We've stopped it down really far. And also, look, this light here is like an arm's length away or a span away. It's not that far away. 3,200 watts. That's a lot of power. If this light, if we wanted hard light, we've got it 7 meters away, this is not an option. And this is where what I do comes in. So let's turn the light back down again. Let's open the lens up again. And let's focus the camera correctly. So we're going to use a bit of the movements on this camera. So we're going to focus at the front, then we're going to move all the way to the back. And to get this back bit in focus, we're going to tilt the lens. Now the bellows are too long, so let's pull those a bit. We have to recompose a little bit there. There we go. We're going to go back down to the front. See how we're looking there. Lost a bit of sharpness. Let's try and pull it back. There we go. Now let's go back to the back. We go back and forth doing this for a while. There's, you can guess it as well. Sometimes we just guess. Let's just do a quick shot. Oh, stop the lens to the correct aperture. 11. Let's see how much we're getting in focus here. Almost all. We're missing a bit at this front corner here again. But I'm not... Actually, it looks sharp. I'm going to suggest, although the focus masking isn't picking it up, it's because the exposure is too bright. I think I was actually on 6.5, not 7.5 before. Let's try that. It's a bit hot. The image is a bit hot. Let's get another frame. There we go. So we've got that all in focus. Need a little bit more at the top, I think. Now this is putting in the time here. And you might, and rightly so, be thinking, yeah, but Scott, you could have just focus stacked in this time. Well, this is quicker than focus stacking. And it is better than aperture, and here's why. We've got the whole thing in focus. We've not had to abuse the lights at 3,200 joules. We're at, what are we at? Does it tell us on this? 303 joules of light. This is like a home studio light power now. We're still at f11. We've got a nice sharp aperture. We've got optimal sharpness. We've got optimal light usability. If we need to move the light away and turn it up, we've got room in that. And we've also got the ability that if the client wants to change anything styling-wise, say it's a plate of food and want to move some stuff, we don't have to do a whole focus stack again. There's other benefits to this, using this kind of system. If this was liquid, obviously focus stacking's out the question. You cannot focus stack if the liquids are moving, because it's going to be gone. And if we're using flash to freeze that movement, we can't F32 it, because when the flash power goes up, the duration goes down, and that means you get blur. So you have to have a low flash power in order to freeze it. So we can be at f8, f5.6. As we change this aperture, let's go 1, 2, 3 stops wider. So adjust the light accordingly. Doesn't quite go that low down, but let's do this. We've just opened the lens up to f4 now. So we've now gone for a wider aperture, but look, it's still in focus. By opening up the aperture and shutting down the aperture, we're not losing focus on the item that we're shooting. We are blurring the background. And what you'll notice from the shots we did with the focus stacking, this paper, every strand of fiber in that paper is now sharp. On this here, we've got a smooth background. That is why professional still life photographers use these sorts of setups. This is the Cambo MV. This is the Fuji 100 on the back, and we use Mamiya 6x7 lenses on the front. And this is a fundamental of still life photography. It is the reason we do it this way and not focus stacking. It is the reason we do it this way and not stopping down the lens. Now, given the choice, personally, I would choose this first. Obviously, it's the best option. It's the best method for all the above reasons. Secondly, I would choose stopping down the lens because it's efficient and it's time saving. And thirdly, I choose focus stacking. Focus stacking produces better image quality, but not necessarily the aesthetic you want. Focus stacking lets you use the sharpest aperture of the lens, but it is not a usable method on set professionally as a commercial photographer. If I was photographing a jelly baby or something very simple, focus stacking would be the right method. But generally speaking, it isn't. It's either this or aperture. Hope you find that useful. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.